The U.S. is approaching a record-breaking year for retirement. In 2024, we're expected to see more than 11,000 Americans turn 65 years old on a daily basis. Now that means more than 4 million Americans will reach that age this year, the largest surge of retirement age Americans in history.
I work for one of the largest tech companies in the world, and today my manager retired and she's not even in her 50s.
That's cap. I accuse you of capping.
Although she did have a leadership position, she definitely was not an exec. She did not have, a senior leader position at the company. She was just a regular manager. And I've seen several people at this company retire early in their 40s and some even in their 30s. So this got me thinking, what does it take to become a millionaire and retire from a corporate job?
It's Britney, bitch.
And what are some of the benchmarks that someone needs to hit in their career to know that they can retire early? So now the question is, where did she start? And what industry should you start working in to become a millionaire? And what are some of the entry-level positions or even junior-level positions that you can get to set yourself up to becoming a millionaire in a couple years? And we're gonna get into all that and more in this video, but first, hi, I'm Kwame Davis. Welcome back to the channel. If you like the content that we provide on this channel, or you like puppies, then smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. But seriously, smashing that like button really does help get these videos seen, and so make sure you do that. But if you are new here on this channel, we like to talk about personal and financial growth, and today we're getting into how you can become a millionaire from just having a regular old 9-to-5 job. So there are 3 ways that you typically get paid in corporate. One being your base salary, the next being cash bonuses, and then the third being equity. There may be some nuances like for sales, right, where they get commissions. We're not going to be talking about those today, but we're going to be talking about the most typical 3 ways that people get paid in corporate jobs. So let's talk about where you need to be in each one of these avenues to retire early. So first, let's talk about base pay. For base pay, at most companies, you're going to start out very low, depending on obviously what profession you go into. And the thing about base pay is it is, out of the 3, it's the hardest to increase. And typically you will not get a decently high base pay until you are at a senior level or you are in a lead position. But there are a couple of industries that actually offer decently high base pay at entry level positions or junior level positions. And these are going to be in the following fields. So in the medical field, you have surgeons, anesthesiologists, orthodontists, and radiologists. In tech, you have specifically software engineers, software developers, and full stack developers. And then you have law, and depending on what law you get into, but then you also have finances in this category as well. And for finance specifically, you have financial managers, trading assistants, and investment banking associates. And these jobs that I mentioned, granted that kind of depends on location, but they all start at high base pays, and by that meaning at bare minimum in the 6 figures. But the highest out of the 3 categories is medical.
Sorry.
Okay, secondly, let's talk about cash bonuses. So everybody loves a big lump sum of money, except when Uncle Sam comes in and says that this is supplemental income and it is taxed at a higher tax rate. And that's why when you have a total comp of $200,000 and your bonus is $100,000, it actually ends up feeling like $50,000. But shout out to all the folks at the IRS that are watching this. I love you and I do my taxes. So love you, love what you do. Thank you for your service. But you really do have to be careful. Most companies will incentivize you with a high cash bonus, but in reality, your cash bonus is being taxed at a higher rate than your base pay. And so if you were to have a $400,000 base pay, for example, but you had $300,000 base pay and a $100,000 bonus, the person with the higher base pay is going to get a higher payout at the end of the year. Most companies will offer 5 to 10% of your base pay as a cash bonus. That means if you make $100,000 a year, they will offer you between $5,000 and $10,000 as a cash bonus that is not included within your base pay. So you'll end up getting between $105,000 and $110,000. But again, there are a few jobs that fall out of this space of paying that 5 to 10% and actually offer 100% or more, depending on the company. Similar to category 1, the highest paying industries are going to be in finance, medical, and in tech.
Wait a minute.
The highest cash bonuses being in investment banking, and for investment banking associates, which can be entry to junior level positions, you can end up making 6-figure bonuses each year. And when you get to a senior level, you can end up having a $1 million cash bonus for that year. And again, this is not even execs. So let's just say you are at that senior level, right? Not even a manager, you're a lead for the team. You can still bring in 7-figure bonuses. Also, cash bonuses for surgeons and anesthesiologists can be in the 6-figure range as well. And now let's talk about equity. Most entry-level positions and junior-level positions will not offer you any equity unless you negotiate. And in my experience, the highest equity offered has been at tech companies, and specifically, those have been at companies that have not IPO'd yet, which means you're placing a gamble on that company you work for to go public. But when they do go public, then the stock will likely skyrocket. Most startup tech companies, for example, will offer huge equity offerings for the employees, and you'll have a vesting schedule with that. So what that means is, as long as you stay with the company for 4 years, you will get paid out, let's just say $100,000 in stock over that 4-year time span. And typically what comes with this is a lower base pay and a lower cash bonus, because these new companies are often operating at break even or a loss for the first couple of years that they're in business. But in my opinion, having equity can be the most advantageous out of the 3 categories of compensation. On the podcast, My First Million, where the 2 co-hosts talk about entrepreneurship and making your first $1 million, as the name of the podcast would suggest, Sam shares a story about how his wife, Sarah, actually worked at Facebook and Airbnb. And she did not join these companies while they were in infancy. She actually joined the companies when they had roughly a couple thousand employees. And through the shares she received from those companies, she was able to become a millionaire in her 30s. And to be honest with you, this is exactly what my boss did. She got into this company fairly early, and she put all of her chips on one company, and she stayed long enough for it to pay out. Knowing what I'm compensated, I think at the very least, from the time that she started working, on average to when she left, she was probably getting $60,000 in stock every year. So let's just say, for example, she did not get any base pay or cash bonus for whatever reason. She was just getting stock every year. $60,000 of stock over 30 years is $1.8 million. I don't know, I can't stress this enough how that is at the very least amount of stock that she would get. But you're probably saying, I don't want to stay at a company for 30 years and hold on to the stock and then sell it. Or you probably aren't going to work at the next Airbnb or Facebook. So what should you do? If I'm being transparent and I'm being honest, I think you should find an occupation that satisfies each one of those categories decently, right? So let's just say your next role, the next company that you want to work for, does not offer you equity. Well, I wouldn't encourage you to take that role because the equity in that company would grow. Let's just say that the next company that you work for only offers you base pay and equity and no cash bonus. I would also say, well, let's rethink that or negotiate. Right? We'll go into another video about how you can negotiate these things. So first of all, don't sell yourself short and think that you're not worth it. And then secondly, be honest with yourself and understand, what knowledge do I need to gain? What experience, credentials, or whatever do I need to gain to get the confidence to be able to get those jobs that offer decent pay in each one of those categories? Prove to yourself and your employer that you're worth it. Stay consistent, be curious, and keep growing. And over time, you will definitely become a millionaire, because I know that I will. Look, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you like the content that we put on this channel, definitely consider liking and or subscribing. But I will catch you on the next one, and I hope you have a day that is just as amazing as you are.